Ta-da-dum! Hello, everybody. Hope that everybody is doing great. Classic check, and then I will present myself for those that don't know me yet. So normally you are on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or directly on our platform, and I want to make sure that you have a lovely screen with a good quality over here, but that you also hear me. If you can drop that in the chat, that will be lovely because I'm talking probably 10 seconds before I can have an answer. So when people can just like put a thumb up and say, yes, Jonathan, we hear you well, we see you well, I will feel already a little bit under stress because it's my first attempt to this. We went basically live on every platform where we are present. So we can just make sure that we're doing good. Hello, Jerry. Great. Thank you for letting me know that you hear me. All good, Matt. Okay, before I bring all those guys that are just hidden over there, I would love to know where you're connecting from, which country, which is already cool. Maybe your title as well, so that I know if I am with more like product managers, CTOs, all those kind of things would be great. And then at a moment in time, I will bring all the people that you will learn from, because at the end of the day, I'm just there to make it a little bit fun at least, and hope that you have a good afternoon. We'll be spending about 30 minutes together. So, okay, already cool to see United States. I don't know what time it is for you, man, but for us, it's like 4 p.m. So it must be very early for you. North Carolina, probably less 8, something like that. Data analyst from the UK. Hello to the UK friends over there. Looks great. So keep dropping those. At the same time, what I will do, I will already bring Mr. Francois on stage with me. So we get Francois over there. They will all present them in a few seconds. Then I will bring Yannick on stage as well. Just so you know, the guy is not playing Counter-Strike or something like that. It's just that he loves to have a good sound and a very good microphone. That's why you get the biggest headset out of all of us. And then we will see if Jasper's microphone is working as well, because that was the funny part of it. Guys, great to have you all over here. Love somebody more than anybody else. It's basically Francois, because he's the only guy that got the Luzmo logo on there. I'm working on the marketing side, so I'm doing very wrong because I don't have the logo, but I have the cape, which all the guys over here are very jealous. You know what? Let's start with you, Francois. Can you maybe drop a little word about who you are, your role in the organization, like in like a few seconds, and then we will bump to Yannick, Jasper, and then I will be closing up with me.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that time. So hi, I'm Francois. So I'm product manager at Luzmo. I joined Luzmo 2 years ago, and I'm here to present some super cool features we released and we are working on this year.
That's so cool. I love when the guys are really excited about what they are building since weeks and months. That's all what we want. So make sure to toast those guys. That's why you have a chat, basically. So ask a lot of questions, because I have many options where I can like pop the options on the screen, and we make sure, let's try to make it as interactive as possible. Yannick, who are you, my friend?
Yes, I'm Yannick, also part of the product team as product manager. Based in Leuven, Belgium, few rooms across from Jonathan, and indeed not playing Counter-Strike at the moment.
That's so sad. And then look, like the option that I have, I can do things like this, Jasper.
Fancy. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, my man. So the microphone is working. We're safe. We're safe.
That's a relief.
Okay.
Indeed. Hey everyone,
Go
I'm
ahead.
Jasper, for who hasn't met me yet, VP of Product at Luzmo, and together with Francois and Yannick, I should be able to answer every question you have about the roadmap and future plans.
Sounds like a plan. So you get it. If you're happy about the platform, you should write it in the chat. If you're missing stuff, you should be also saying that in the chat. And there is a secret lady, which is like, you know, hidden in the backstage. She's called Connie. She is like maintaining all the conversation streaming over there. So make sure that she gets some work to do. Ask her for links, ask her for in documentation. She is really ready for you as well. So let's try to kick this off. So the main idea over here is to talk about the roadmap and what we are going to deliver, if not already delivered, because, you know, those guys are really sharp. It's already like 28th of April, so we are already pretty well in the Q2. But what is important for you to know, because this is a mix of client partners, but also prospect. We are with like 50 people, more or less, from what I'm seeing. You are our data. Basically, you decide what those guys need to build so that you can run better businesses. Jesper is a huge defender, as his entire team, about the customer voice is the one that matters the more. The more you tell us, the better we can be close to you, and we make sure that you can deliver and like have an exceptional career, making millions of euros, dollar, or whatever the currency is. That's the entire idea. But at the end of the day, we also want to please your clients. So keep that in mind. Feed us as much as you can with requirements, upgrades that you're looking for. Connie will be linking a page. It's really an open page where you can all that you're a client or a prospect requesting, just make sure that you go for it. I think that is really the main idea about the way we want to be connected with you, as trying to build that community around embedded analytics.
Hey,
So,
Jonathan.
yes.
I'll make use of the opportunity to interrupt you since you asked for it. I really want to emphasize that. I know, working in product already for a long time, that sometimes it might feel you're asking for something, a feature request, or you have feedback on the product, and it feels like that request is going into a black hole. Like sometimes you might see things come back that you ask for, other times not. But we're very strict on it for ourselves, that everything, whether it comes through email, to our customer success team, through the website, all the feedback that you would submit to us in whatever way will be tracked in Productboard and not lost. And when we're reviewing the roadmap and we're looking into data on what to prioritize or what scope to put on a feature, we always go through all that data and all the feedback. So all the feedback you leave, even when you might have the feeling, hey, where has this gone? It will all be variable in weighing the pros and cons of our roadmap. So please, for everyone who has been doing that, keep doing that. It really helps us to make decisions.
Jerry, I love you, mate. You have already a question before I can even start the roadmap, guys. Who want to pick it up? I cannot. I'm not a product guy. I'm just the guy that runs marketing and try to like toast you as much as you can. Is this something we can already answer, guys?
I'd love to jump to an answer, but Jerry, can you elaborate a bit on what you mean with pixel perfect reporting? Is it on the flexibility on the design?
Yeah, definitely. And because I know what is coming up, guys, I would say, I think, Yannick, at the moment, on your part, this can be like really linked to one of the PS elements that you will be sharing. And so make sure, Jerry, to say, John, you owe me to get my question back on stage, and I will make sure that we address it in the right way. Conscious of your time, what's next? I'm really bad at all those words that those guys come up with like feature, functionalities, capabilities. So when they talk about warp delta sync, I'm like, what are we talking about, guys? Who can pick up that question and make it like really tangible for a non-technical person that I am over here? Sorry for that, by the way.
Oh, I can probably help a bit here, Jonathan.
You can elaborate? Then you know what I do. I will pull this out of this, and then I bring your screen now over here. So normally, guys, you should see a lovely screen with a lovely Luzmo, a lovely elephant. I think it's a database kind of stuff, if I remember well, for the non-technical guy that I am. So Francois, please teach me.
Yeah, so guys, so you know Warp. We released Warp a few years ago. It's our acceleration layer, so you can accelerate your datasets using Warp. A few weeks ago, actually 1 month ago, we released Warp Delta Sync. So like Jonathan said, it's what does it mean? So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't tried it, now when you are going to your Warp settings, you have two options. One is full, one is Delta. Full is basically what we released a few years ago. You can warp and synchronize in our Luzmo architecture all the dataset, the entire dataset. Its full dataset will be synchronized. You can choose your frequency, and it works very well for quite a long time. Now we release Delta. So what is the difference between Delta and full? Delta will only sync the delta, the difference, the new rows between yesterday, for instance, and today, or depending on the frequency. So between two frequencies, you can get only the delta. What it means? It means that you don't have, for instance, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million rows to synchronize every time. You can synchronize only the delta. So if in one day you are getting 10,000 rows, you synchronize only 10,000 rows, which means that you can always have fresh data, and it will also be better for your own infrastructure cost. How it works, very quickly. You can choose your mode, different mode. You can only synchronize append only, append and update, or append and update and delete. What it means that you can just choose all the new rows, or the new rows and the updated rows, or the new rows, updated rows, and the rows who have been deleted. For depending on the option, you have different settings you have to set. So I chose the append and update. So you need to timestamp, and it's basically to define when the date, when the row has been created. You need to find a column, a date time column to do that. Same for update. And a unique key column. Why a unique key column? Because if we want to update a row, we need to know which row we need to update. So we need a unique key. And here you can choose either one column, like an ID, because you know it's unique. Or if you don't have a unique key in your dataset, you can build your own composite key by selecting 1, 2, or even 3 columns. It will create a unique key, and we'll use it to synchronize your delta. And what is amazing is that then, because we are not synchronizing the entire dataset, we synchronize just part of this dataset, you can choose better frequencies, and frequencies like hours, minutes, and even seconds. That's why you can keep your data fresh. And currently, you can refresh 30 seconds, every 30 seconds, which means that every 30 seconds, your dataset will be synchronized based on these settings. So now you have more flexibility, and you can ensure that you keep your data fresh. And you save, and that's it. It's working. You can test it in your own Luzmo application right away. Is it clear, Jonathan? Did you understand it?
Massive, mate. First of all, you have a link over here. You can discover much more. I will ask you a question because, yes, it was clear. If I get it right, at least, let's see if it's clear for me. We're really talking about performance over here. It's really about when you have huge data set that you can like have that smooth experience that you want to deliver to your end clients. Instead of waiting ages for the data to sync, you can do it in a one big bucket, or you can just take the extra to make sure that your performance is at its top level. But when should basically our clients use that? What is the main use case why we had to build this for our clients, maybe?
So it's a very good question. There are a few different use cases. The one, like you said, is performance. So if you have a huge data set and it takes a lot of time to synchronize, now you can synchronize only the delta. So it's faster, and it will be more performant. But it's also frequencies. Because with a huge data set, because it takes a lot of time to synchronize, you can't synchronize every minute, every hour, because it takes too much time. Okay. So if your use case is to have fresh data for your end users, let's say your data dashboard has to be synchronized every 30 seconds, every 5 minutes, every hour, you can use Delta, and you will always have fresh data in your dashboards.
So basically, we're getting really close to real time, if I get it right, with that kind of options. I'm not saying real time, and don't try to make me say things that I were not saying, because I already see Jasper looking at me. Why is that guy talking about real time over here? Oh. It's close to real time that I said, because you talk about minutes over here.
Yes, and even seconds, if we want to. The lowest you can set is 30 seconds. So we are near real time. We are very near real time. And again, it depends on the number of rows you want to synchronize, a lot of different parameters. But yes, it's a huge improvement in our synchronization and our acceleration layer. So now you are very close to real time.
I can think about so many use cases based on products sold where you want to have like a direct impact on your revenue based on sales, for example, of those kind of things. Maybe because I see Bart, by the way, great Bart that you ask a question. What should he be doing when he doesn't see the now button? Reaching out probably to his customer success is the first thing to do, I guess.
Yes, I think so.
But
Yes.
just make sure that you drop us also an email, with your company, and we make sure that we pick it up with you, because it's not normal. And those are the kind of things that I know that Francois loves to understand what happened there and why is that not like showing, but normally it should be there. And let's be honest, how many clients are running today already, maybe on 𝗹𝗹𝗿𝗹, because I think
Oh,
we have quite a few.
yeah, I mean, overall, we have quite a lot of customers using Warp, and now we have probably, I guess it's close to 20-30% of those customers who are using now Warp Delta Sync. So the adoption is going quite well, and we are seeing more and more datasets warped with Delta.
Okay, sorry guys, but it's voice to the customer over here. I'm just like the guy that will be. Is there a plan to make Warp work in multi-tenant setting with a different database per tenant? Guys, and thank you for asking that question, because I get so many smiles on Francois' face that I feel good today, guys.
Yeah, I'm smiling because that's a very good question, and thanks for the question. So we have already got this request. It's something we are thinking about. It's not planned yet, but we have already done some discovery work. So I wouldn't promise anything, but we are discovering, and we are trying to work on it a little bit later this year.
So Jasper, because I want to hear your voice and make sure that your microphone, Adrian should go on this page to request that. Is that the way to do?
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely a feature indeed that we put quite a bit of work in already to prepare that and investigate it. It's not an easy technical thing to solve, because you can have endless amount of connections that we don't know about up front. But if this is something that's useful, then add the feedback, even when you know that we've thought about it, because that will push the weight of it when we get more feedback. Also, now you give me some time to speak, Jonathan. Francois, the question about the synchronize now button, it's hard to judge from just that message, but it might also be about a request we sometimes get about just a button in the UI. When you click it, then we do the synchronization. So manual synchronize now button.
Okay, good stuff to know.
And we released it. So please check your model. You should have a button trigger manual full sync. So let me know if you are not seeing it. Again, reach out to support or customer success, and we'll pick that up.
Lovely. Sorry guys, but now we got 𝘆cie, and we are hosted on a VPC. Does that mean we have our own Warp database?
So basically, when you are using VPC, you are using our own the Luzmo 𝘆cie_𝗹𝗹 database. So it's how Warp is working internally. We are using our Warp in 𝘆cie_𝗹𝗹 optimized database, which help to also provide this acceleration layer. So to answer the question, you don't have your own Warp database, but you have your own dataset warped in our 𝘆cie_𝗹𝗹 infrastructure.
Sounds like a very good answer. Love it. Well, conscious of time, so keep pushing the question. I will always interrupt for question, but otherwise, this feel like my Excel courses and VB stuff where I was really bad at school, guys. So aggregation is already freaky for me. Then you talk about formulas and then enhancements. Come on, who's picking that one up?
I can take it.
You told me,
yeah, you told me, Jonathan, you don't like math too much, so I'll try to explain it clearly for you. So let's start with trying to explain what aggregation formulas are. So
that would be great, man.
It's a way to go from row level data, so raw rows of data, like for example, one row per employee, to calculations on a group level. So leading to more detailed insights across groups. So to demo this feature, I want to use an HR dataset. So where each row basically is one employee in a company. So in this case, insights on group level would be to go from, for example, the salary of every person to more advanced calculations, like what's the average salary per department, or what is the pay gap between genders. That's all stuff you can calculate with the simple data sets and aggregation formulas. And to come on to the word enhancements, we released an initial version of this functionality last year, but in the previous quarter, we added quite some functionality to it that makes it even more powerful, which I'll walk you through in a demo. So let's start from this HR data set, where again, every row is an employee in a company. And let's start with a simple example where we'll try to calculate the average salary of each employee in a group. So here you have the add button. You can click the formula button, and that leads you to the UI to create an aggregation formula. Let's call it average salary per employee. And then we take the average aggregation and we look for the salary column and we add it in there. Now, this is about the most simple formula you can have. So let's save it. And the nice thing about this formula is that it automatically adapts to the grouping of the chart. And what that means, I'll show you by using it in a chart. So let's quickly take a bar chart. And let's add the department as category. And then our new formula, average salary per employee, and add it right here. So what we have now is basically the average salary for employees per department. So you see, for example, the guys in the executive office are making way more than the guys in production. So this is grouped per department. But as I mentioned, it automatically adapts to the grouping of your chart. So if you want to see how much people are earning on average segmented per when they were hired by the year, for example, if you add that, the grouping automatically adapts. And again, you see the average salary for that group. So with just one formula, that gives you a pretty flexible way to get multiple insights at the same time, if that makes sense.
Crazy, man. I don't know what you try to do, but let's make sure that your boss see this. I get it. You're trying to have a rise in pay by showing that basically you earn less than sales and other people. So very good example that you took over there. But more seriously, I would say, basically you're doing data exploration when you were starting from an aggregated formula that you could apply to your entire data sets to really dig deep, because you went from an average salary to looking at the departments, and then from the departments you were diving a little bit further with like when they were hired, and you could use like all those dimensions to really explore. And correct me if I'm saying stupid things again, guys, but that's the entire idea also about bringing data at the forefront. It's basically living the ability to internal teams, but also to external person to like discover insights in the data with the visual aspect of it. I would love maths that way, to be honest, Yannick.
Yeah, I think you explained it very well. So this lets you go beyond just slicing and dicing data, but really lets you define almost business logic like KPIs that really solve a problem for you, that react automatically to your filters, your chart groupings. And once you define them, they're pretty flexible. You can reuse them in multiple ways. And you can reuse them in any chart or filter.
Love it.
One last thing I want to show, Jonathan, if you're up for it.
Yes.
One more, little bit advanced. So the thing we added last quarter was grouping options. So if let's say we want to compare the average salary of a group to the global average across the company, expressed as a percentage, we can do that by using the grouping options. So again, we're starting from this formula with salary.
By the way, I love the fact that you can search when you know your data fields that you have, because I can imagine people having like a column of like, I don't know how many names
absolutely.
in there.
So what we're going to do now is here, so the top of this fraction we leave to grouped, but the bottom of the fraction we're going to set to full, which means it's going to look at the average salary across the full company. And when we do that, we can also use something else we added, which is setting the default format of a formula. This is something that calculates a percentage. So let's make sure that this is always outputted as a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So if we now go to a chart again, let's see if we take gender.
I love the live coding, mate. It's crazy.
If we then take our new formula, let's show which values are in there. So we see, for example, that women in this example data set earn 94% of the global average in the company, and men earn 108%. And again,
that need to be fixed, man. That need to be fixed. It's
I
not
know.
normal.
I don't know who created this data set, but and again, you can just change the dimension. This is maybe not the best example. So let's say date of hire again. And again, you see that the calculation just changes to whatever category you drop on there.
Massive,
and then,
man.
One last thing is that we also added that you can filter on the result of a formula. So if in this chart you want to see only people that earn more than 100% of the average, you can do that by just clicking the Add Filter button. Over here, we added a new section called Post-Aggregation Filters, and there you can select your formulas, and you can say, for example, you want that ratio to be greater than 1 or 100%, apply the filter, and you see that the chart adapts to only show those cases where the ratio is more than 100%. So I know that was a quite mathematical explanation, but just to show what kind of advanced calculations you can now do with all these options.
If I can follow, I'm sure that all those guys that are listening to you, they are like massive. By the way, Tony had a question and you were answering it directly. Now I will do like the question time. Will you talk about AI? Are there any plans to incorporate AI and ML for formula creation? I know that is something that you were looking at as well, Yannick. I think you have.
Yep.
Basically, guys, you're answering by doing this. Try to have some poker face, like make, the tension a little bit hot over here.
I think we even already created a pilot project for that with pretty interesting results where you indeed can just describe the formula you want in natural language, and it outputs those nice UI blocks you saw when I was building one. So
lovely.
Yes,
the answer is yes. I know Yannick is really a lot into documentation, to be honest. Everything the guy does has an explanation in a lot of different places in the company.
Yeah, so there is an Academy article that walks you through all kinds of examples you can build and all supported methods and grouping options.
Lovely. So just so you know, you also had this because I know that you're focused on the question that I put on screen. So there were happy people over here. Jesper is doing the shadow with Connie, so answering in the chat as well. So Tony got his answer. We have already, Connie is doing a great job as well. Here you go. We got links everywhere, guys. So yes, there is a lot that is documented over here. So moving, because I know I didn't have other questions. Otherwise, just pop them back. No, custom charts. That's my hot one. That's the one that I like. And I know who answered that one, by the way.
I also like it. I might be biased, but I really, really like this one. So yeah, what is custom chart?
What is custom chart? Before you try to show something, what were you trying to do with that project, man?
So you can visualize data in a lot of different ways. And we have, I think, 30, 40 default charts in Luzmo, which solve a lot of use cases. So your standard bar chart, line charts. But sometimes you're just in need of a pretty niche data visualization, or you're in a certain industry that requires some kind of visualization, where Luzmo sometimes doesn't provide that out of the box. So basically with custom charts, we are looking for a mechanism for our users to create their own charts on top of the powerful analytical infrastructure of Luzmo, and then just connect that to the Luzmo platform, which enables them to easily use those custom charts in their own dashboards.
Is it correct, Yannick, to say that basically when you were talking about 30 plus, that's what we have in our studio, like in the drag and drop that you were like using for the human resource kind of case. And it's like, that's a set that we offer. And with building your own charts, you give like infinity possibility to people. And that is basically what you're going to share now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
it's really, if you can imagine it, you can build it with custom charts because you fully control the code, and that's where really the endless amount of possibilities comes up. So I can show you something.
No, not something. I want to see all of them.
All of them.
just so you know, I've been toasting because also I have a survey which I will be talking later about it, and I already said, Yannick, I get a good use case for you.
Right. So for this example, I want to use a deals dataset, so just some basic CRM dataset. And basically, let's say I'm the sales manager, and I want to know how well the people in my sales team are doing. I want to kind of leaderboard of this sales guy is closing the most, and I want to put a nice little medal next to their name for the best one. That's a kind of chart that Luzmo doesn't really support, at least not in that visual way, and I want it to be really opinionated in terms of UI UX. So what we did is we created a custom chart for that, and we connected it to the Luzmo platform. So this big blue button at the top allows you to add new charts to dashboards. Here you have the default set that you know, the bar chart, the line chart. But at the very bottom, there's a new section called custom charts. And over here, you see the sales leaderboard chart that I created. So we can just take that, drag it to the dashboard. And then you can just start adding data to it, like any usual Luzmo chart. So let's add the sales rep name here. And then let's add the deal amount in this slot. So what you see here is a custom data visualization that's not in the standard package of Luzmo. So you see you have the initials of the sales rep name. You have a bar that shows compared to the maximum how much they're closing. And for the top for the top three, we have medals next to the names. So this is a very simple example, but it shows you that you can just design any custom charts and connect it to the Luzmo platform. Of course, we want to make stuff easy for you. So we want to do all the heavy lifting in terms of querying data, formatting data, theming your charts, so that you can focus only on designing your perfect charts. So if I change, for example, the dashboard theme to something else, oops, something went wrong there. So let's take this one. You see that my custom chart immediately adapts to this new dashboard theme. So it has full support for theming. If I'm going to add another chart to my dashboards, let's add region. So let's say I want to see only deals that were closed in the Europe region. If I click this chart, you see that the chart, my custom chart adapts. So there is interactivity, full interactivity in the dashboard between standard charts and the custom charts. And there is even interactivity from the custom charts to the standard chart. So if I select the sales rep here, you see that the bar chart filters. So you can say that.
And we can even use our aggregation formula over here as well, I guess?
Yes, yes.
The one that you were showing, we could apply them to those dashboards as well then.
Yeah, it's a different data set, but in theory that's possible. So also here, if you click here, you have access to the slot menu. So you can set aggregation from sum to average, for example. You can change formatting. So this is all standard Luzmo, the slot menu, and it nicely interacts with the custom charts. So there is almost no difference in a dashboard between, let's say, the standard charts and the custom charts. So it's really powerful, and we try to take all hard things like I mentioned, formatting, theming, querying. We take that out of your hands, and you can just focus on creating nice charts. I have a second example for you, Jonathan, something very different, just to show the flexibility, which is a floor plan of, let's say, some conference.
A store.
Or a store, yeah, whatever, can be anything. So let's say we have some X and Y coordinates here of locations on the map. Then we have a type of location, and then we want to know how busy those locations are. So we take the busyness column. Let's get this one out of the way. So you see it has a very custom background, this chart, the map overlay basically, and then it plots the locations on that map based on the coordinates. And again, there is interactivity like hover effects, and you can click on stuff to highlight it. So that's a very.
I would love to hear use cases in the chat about how people would love to use this, you know, for their day-to-day business and delivering like better experience to their end customer. I come from the CRM world, just so you know. I can imagine so many things around retail, driving into those kind of things with IoT and just call in. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
𝘪𝗲, I see your comments. I was exactly thinking about you guys when we made this example. Yeah, I know you're interested in this for a long time. The code for this is not publicly shared yet, but I think we're looking into providing some examples, so we can definitely get it over to you.
Perfect bridge.
Do we that your answer was also linking to this then?
That's a case we identified that might come up later, so it would be cool. So for now, custom charts, they're limited to your own organization. But we're thinking of maybe at some point it would be interesting.
We'll do a GitHub where everybody can publish his stuff.
If you could share your custom charts with other users, so that would be cool.
Hey guys, I like that idea because that's like a community effect. So go back on that roadmap page, tell those guys over here that you want to have a GitHub where you can publish your stuff so that I can thumb up as well on it. That would be really cool. And just trying to pick up all the questions to make sure. I think this one is also important.
Yeah. Code will have to be written, that's true. But I'm fairly confident that we made it the simplest possible to implement. And to give you a concrete example, one of our people in the sales team who is very not technical, he basically created a custom chart on his own with just the documentation, and he got pretty far. So yes, you need to write codes, but it's safe to assume that our documentation is clear enough that maybe with some AI coding assistance, for example, you're able to create a custom chart pretty easily.
Are you making promotion for Cursor or something like that, my friend?
I didn't name drop them. You did.
But I dare to do it. No, but I can imagine even somebody working on something like a Figma, that out of that, it's easy to make the transition from more like, I'm not a coder, I'm even not a designer, but I'm probably less bad at designing that coding, that I can use that and basically share that with somebody that has a bit more technical skills, I guess, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just so you know, feeding the beast over here. Here you have a use case, warehouse management. Another one.
Yeah, I didn't really mention this one, but we provide a custom chart builder indeed, which basically helps you in building the custom chart. You can select any data, and there's a lot of documentation in it, so you can see the result of the chart before you connect it to Luzmo.
Sounds great. I feel, Jasper, you want to say something. I just feel it. You're like, exactly. I want to say something.
I tried to interrupt, but you and Yannick were on the roll. Well, we actually we had an engineer who uploaded or copy pasted the documentation of the chart builder to, I think, ChatGPT or Claude or just an AI chat, and told it, hey, create this visualization for me and make sure it works with this. And because all of the Luzmo specific work, like querying and formatting, like Yannick says, is handled by us, you can focus on the visualization. That's something that with AI you can get pretty far. So that engineer kind of showed internally to us that was possible with AI to already create a visualization and make it work as a custom chart for Luzmo without, there's of course always some coding involved, but without doing much of coding at all.
Of this, I think this is also a good question then, that kind of linked pretty well with what you were trying to express, I think, Jasper, and Yannick, feel free, one of you, it's one team over here at the end of the
day. Maybe I'll take this to as a bridge to the last thing we want to show before we talk roadmap.
Okay, lovely. Are you talking about this?
Yeah, and I'll answer the question right away as well. So no, you cannot currently take an existing Luzmo chart and modify that code. Those charts still technically work slightly different, but we already tested it quite a lot of use cases like the floor plan, and there are also some other requirements that we tried out and built. And that's something that often happens, that our customers ask for something. Hey, how would we solve this? And we know how we can solve that problem, or how you could build that with Luzmo. We create an example, we create a code example that we share with the customer. And we want to do something to make it easier to share that work wider as kind of a library to get inspired, but also, for example, custom charts that are useful for more than one very specific company, that we just share those code examples somewhere. And that leads to, indeed, Luzmo examples. I'll make sure
you need to share your screen.
Yeah,
Forget to share your screen, Jasper.
I just remember, out of the three. I just remember I did. So here we go.
Where is the screen of Jasper? Here it is.
So on our landing page, if you scroll all the way down, you see examples here, or you just go to examples.luzmo.com, and that will give you a library with examples of things that we built as showcases for customers, helping them out with problems that go beyond dashboards by using Flex, custom charts, our API. These are now the examples that are in there, but we're working hard to adding.
I don't know if you're still on the footer of the website.
No, I'm not.
Because
Thank you.
You forgot to switch your tab, my friend.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So we're working hard to add more examples, like a couple of those custom charts, so you can just look at that, take that, and make it your own. And to show you how it works, there's information on what an example does. You can try it live, like this chart library. This is a way to make a dashboard editable by your customers in a way that doesn't require customers to build charts, but give your users kind of a chart library where they can pick a new chart from, add that to a dashboard, remove another one that they don't find useful, resize and reorder that, and in this way, customize a dashboard in a different way than, for example, through our embedded dashboard editor, which is a lot more data savvy and technical. So this is one example of something that we got 1 or 2 requests for. We built an example, and now we just have an easier way to share that code for anyone who wants to use that. So if I go back to that overview page here, you can explore the demo, but also just view the code, copy it, make it your own, and do whatever you want with it. Yeah, so
Love it.
There's a Git repository with where all our examples will be added to.
And I would say, guys, if you need other examples, again, shoot those so that we can think about it. And maybe that one day I will be able to build those kind of things, as they said, that it's so easy and that I'm not good at it. Who knows?
Yes, exactly. So, and definitely, so one thing you won't see here yet are examples of custom charts. But we're working hard to clean up the examples we built internally so that anyone could have a look and use them and try them out. So keep an eye on this examples.luzmo.com page, and you'll see a couple of examples of custom charts pop up.
I love it, guys. I think we went pretty heavy in everything which is like up and ready that I can use. I think we need also a big shout out to Yannick, because Yannick became a dad a few weeks ago, and he basically got 2 kids at the same time, which is pretty impossible for human beings, because he got now his custom chart, which is one of his baby, and he got a real baby. So you should make some shout out to Yannick about being a dad in the same quarter 2 times, because I know that he's really proud of it, and I really love it, mate. So yes, the shout outs are coming to you, my friend. More seriously, that is now Jasper playtime. TP product, make us dream. Put yourself on the grill, because if you don't deliver on those, you will be in some kind of trouble now, because everything is recorded.
Go ahead. Just let's get started. If you can move on.
Here you go.
So real quick, we started this year with these 3 product pillars, and I'm just repeating them because these are our guides on how we focus our roadmap. around these three topics. Building data products is to make Luzmo basically more flexible. If you want to do things beyond dashboards, like the example I just showed, we want to emphasize that and make it easier and give you more handles to do those things. Second pillar, AI. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. We've built a lot of capabilities with AI, and we want to double down on that as well. And success at scale is about making Luzmo easier to work with for large teams and large organizations. If you jump ahead, Jonathan, that leads you to the summary of what we're working on this quarter. The 4 big blocks that you see here are the things that are promised releases for this quarter, things we're already working on right now. Composite keys for 𝗹𝗲 on the down left actually has already been released, as Francois showed. So that's one check already.
You try to make your life easy over here by saying you're already delivering, just so you know.
𝗹𝗲 delta sync definitely was not an easy feature, so that it's delivered. Great job, Francois, but that's a very technical feature to get right and to make performant and smooth. The other one's very highly requested array columns that will allow you to use arrays and automatically unnest them into your filters and visualizations, so that if you have something like tags, like product categories of a product that is in an array column that are tags, like you have a toaster that can be in the kitchen category and appliances and some other categories. If that's not all in different data sets, but simply in arrays, this is an easier way to work with it without redoing your whole data setup and do weird transformations. And we make this as easy as possible to automate all that nesting and filtering in the dashboard editor. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yes, but because I'm still learning, it's things like SKUs in e-commerce. Would that be like a good use case of the arrays column? It's because you get SKU 2214 kitchen fridge, to say something. Is that the kind of data that we would be able to manipulate them? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm not as good as the Ojun, so I asked stupid question. My bad for that.
There are definitely more, a lot of examples, but I like tags a lot because you often see them in an array column. Like, think about social media. I don't think we have one social media customer, to be honest, but think about the social media product where I can add these tags to a post, like Luzmo, 𝗹𝗲, hyped,
the hashtag you mean, with
the
like
hashtags,
words behind and hashtags.
Like,
okay.
So those can, like, the type of hashtags can be endless, and you might not want to store them all as identities in a separate data set. So there's a post, and you just use an array column, which is just one piece of text where all these tags are listed. Currently, it's difficult to work with that when you want to visualize that and be able to filter on that. Show me everything that had to do with the tag Luzmo webinar, and a feature like this will make that a lot easier and basically automate all the work there for you.
Basically, being able to use unstructured data to structure your data.
It's
my definition.
Still structured, I would say, but yeah. But currently we see an array column as just one big blob with everything put together, and now we're actually able to do something with the values of these tags, for example. So next one, large file exports. This is also a highly requested feature. This is for tables, where if you want to allow your customers to export data from a table, they can easily bump into a limit of how big that export can be. And it's not just an easy problem to solve where we just increase that number of our limit manually, because currently if you trigger an export of a table, we put all the work effort on your browser basically to create that file. And there's only so much you can do with that. There's only so much data you can send to the user in that case. So
if Jim is happy, I'm happy.
That's great to hear. And there will be more. I know there are more people anxiously waiting for this to be ready. With large file exports, we use a different mechanism, a different technical mechanism to create these exports. If they're very big, we tell the user, hey, thanks for requesting that export. This can take a while. We'll generate the file for you, and we send you an email, or you see a notification in the app when the file is ready to be downloaded. And that literally allows you to export millions of rows or millions of cells far beyond the current limit we have.
Love it.
I'll jump to the last big block there, AI and 𝘆cie_'𝗋𝗋, and I plan to explain a bit more because of a question I noticed. So currently we have some AI features weaved throughout the product, like AI generated columns, the chart generator, and we also have 𝘆𝚋_IQ, which is a way more advanced feature that allows you to have your end users ask questions about the data. And then 𝘆𝚋_IQ, which is basically kind of an AI agent, is going at work to find the right data sets, query those data sets, and formulate an answer to that question. First and foremost, we know there are still ways we can make that faster and improve the results of those answers, and answer questions that right now we cannot answer. Development in this space, as everyone probably knows, still goes so fast that we're continuously trying out new models, new approaches, new technical angles to solve that problem of answering questions with big data. And as kind of a sneak peek, which doesn't really belong to the promise of that block, but that I want to talk about because it was one of those questions. We built so many capabilities already for 𝘆𝚋_IQ. It can generate formulas, it creates charts, it can find and select the right data sets and columns from a big range of data sets. It can summarize data that has been queried. It can generate queries. So there's so many different capabilities that we want to break those little things out and put them into individual APIs so that we can weave all those capabilities further through our product, but that we can also allow our customers to build agents like 𝘆𝚋_IQ or anything else on top of those smaller, more atomic functions. And that's not something that will be released and ready this quarter, but that's something that we will also be working on, that hopefully answers one or two of the questions that I saw earlier about AI.
Transition to this, if I'm not wrong, or you still needed this one?
I just want to quickly highlight on the other topics. So those are topics that are not necessarily things that we will release this quarter, but those are all things that we're actively working on, not just on product side, but also on engineering side. So I want to have them mentioned. Single sign-on is a topic that we started work on. Variable period of period is an expansion of our current period of period functionality. One of the most important requests there is to be able to compare with, for example, two date pickers, two periods of different points in time, but also different lengths in the period. So really making it very flexible and support more charts with that, for example, also a table. And there's some other parts in here that we're all starting. We're working on it. If this is important to you, reach out to us, and would love to hear your feedback and user input to determine the scope and the exact shape of this feature. Because Yannick, François, and I are working on it, and these things have started. So even though they won't release or necessarily come to you this quarter, if it's important to you, we'd love to get in touch and work on it together.
Okay, just so you know, I was asking when you were talking who is using already IQ. When I see those kind of things, I say we need to know how the workshop went. So somebody need to ping Adrian tomorrow in the late afternoon just to know if he got like a raise in pay and getting like more traction in his job because he is looking amazing. I see Jim is also on it, but I also see one little question that we might be maybe able to quickly answer. It's related to IQ.
Yeah, that's correct. If that's related to IQ, 𝘆𝚋_IQ, it definitely works perfectly multi-tenant. It uses the same access control as dashboards would do. So it works multi-tenant like any dashboard or chart. There's a feature that's not required to use 𝘆𝗪, but a feature that uses vector embeddings to answer more complex questions about text. So if you, for example, have something like product reviews and a user asks a question like, how many positive reviews did I get about product X? Then there's a feature called vector embeddings that can help AI to interpret those reviews and determine, hey, this is a positive one, and that's a positive one. If you want to use a feature like that, we bump into the same limitation as currently with 𝗹𝗲. If you use connection overrides for multi-tenancy, those vector embeddings will not work with that. So I would say if you're interested in 𝘆𝗪 for anyone, using connection overrides is not a limitation to use 𝘆𝗪, but in combination with those vector embeddings, if the answers need to come from text, a lot of text hierarchy columns, then that can definitely have an impact on the answer quality and the type of questions we can answer.
Adrian, I really hope that the extended answer from Jesper really provides you the entire what you were looking at, because I think I understood like 30%, to be honest. But one day I will be good at it. Promise, Jesper. I will do an effort to make sure that I get all this. Conscious of time, and I see that some people need to drop, and we are close to an hour. I know that you wanted also to have like a little look into the future, like not back to the future, but more looking to the future over here. So floor is still yours, my friend.
Yes, this is, I won't call them out one by one, but these are topics that on the product team we're working on to prepare for example, later this year. So if there's anything here that is important to you, please reach out. We'd love to get in touch.
They need to go to the roadmap page and put
share these
thumbs
things.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Like if there's something that's important to you that's not on here, also submit that feedback or get in touch. But I think this is a useful overview to show that AI will remain a big topic, and we'll put in a lot of work also beyond 𝘆𝗪 on what we're doing with AI. Be more flexible in how you can embed and what you can build with 𝘆𝗪 is a big topic. We're going to do more and more with formulas, period over period, and we're also not forgetting like the core things like visualizations. Francois is actually doing a lot of discovery on tables, because we're looking at a big overall of how our tables work, how flexible they are in design and styling. So that's also a topic in the visualization part where we're looking to prepare a huge update somewhere in the future.
Love this. Okay, conscious of time, we said 40, we went a bit above. First of all, I tried to make it like different from what we were doing, so I hope you like it. If not, you should say you need to fire Jonathan. I hope they will not do it, but if you write it down, at least I know I didn't do right. I would also need some help of you. If you can flash that QR code, we are having a survey around dashboards, because I'm a marketeer and I would like to bring figures to help you also like move up a bit the needle in your job by having more insight from what you guys are expecting, looking for. So that would be great is if you can flash the code, take 5 minutes, fill it in. I will also put the link in there. If there are still questions, ask them now, because I will need to close this webinar. So it's now or never. Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate. I will use that to have the same rising pay that Yannick tried to have. Oh, yes, definitely. You didn't answer that, Yannick.
No, sorry. I'll get to it. So pixel perfect reporting, I think custom charts can definitely help here. I mean, we have a lot of options already around customizability and themability of charts that helps. But if you really want to go pixel perfect, then custom charts allows you to do just that. In the meanwhile, of course, if there are specific requirements to get there, we'd love to hear them from you to get to just improve our default customizability, let's say. So if you need some things there to make it better, I'd be happy to hear those.
So Jerry, if I try to sum it up, Yannick is saying he's happy to upgrade his baby already if you have the good use case about the pixel perfect. More or less that?
Yeah, Jesper, I saw you were
saying... I muted myself, but I wanted to interrupt that. Jonathan, it definitely goes beyond custom charts because that gives you full control. But when we say building data products and also success at scale are important pillars for us, an important ingredient to get there is flexibility. So we indeed want to make sure that also for our default charts, we add more and more flexibility on how you can style them and how you can tweak them to your needs. So we don't want to force kind of a Luzmo flavor on our customers. There's still a lot that you cannot tweak yet or cannot customize. We know that, and that's we definitely want to go there and get there, and while keeping things fast and quick to set up and go to market as short as possible. We do want to find ways within that to make things even more flexible on the starting side.
Lovely. Okay, and now because I tried to make François, Yannick, and Jasper very social animals that love to share in front of the entire world what they do. When you flash those codes, you will have directly access to their LinkedIn accounts. Yannick is sharing more and more, sometimes with a video from himself, sometimes not, depends. It should be working. Otherwise, you have the names of the people. I would say, let's try to connect. I really kind of like the energy over here today. I will make sure to maintain that each time and to toast the three over here and all the other ones that are hidden here. I want to say huge thank you to Kevin, Gerdy, Jerry, Jim, Adrian, and all the other ones that shoot questions. I think that is, at least in my opinion, not a boring webinar where you were just listening. I hear that one dog is also happy that we are getting to the end so that he can have a walk, which is great as well. Huge thank you, François, Yannick, and Jasper. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I kind of learned a lot, which is still cool after nearly 4 months now at the company. And yes, I would say to the audience, if you have ideas, wishes, things that you would like to see come up, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to deliver on that. And on that note, I will say huge thank you to you guys, and I will free up you for your afternoon and looking forward to the next question. And one big shout out, please, in the chat for Connie, which was sharing a lot of stuff, make all this stuff happening. So without Connie, we wouldn't be here. So big applause for you too, lady. Thank you very much, Connie. And yes, catch up soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.